I tried making a video a while back about power and power dynamics. And I tried to relate it to some of the things that are coming out in the news about powerful individuals like the Harvey Weinsteins and Kevin Spaceys of the world. And I never published the video because I was really jacked up at the time and I wasn't clear in my thinking nor in my communication. I was too close to some of the insights and revelations that I wanted to share at that time. And the result was that I was very passionate, but I was also reckless and not super clear in my thought process. So I thought I would revisit it again today and see if I can get out what I'm trying to get out on this topic. And just to be clear, the topic is power. Mostly what I'm curious about and what I'm struggling with or grappling with right now is the idea of power as an abstract notion. What I'm trying to figure out is, how does power work? Where does it come from? How do we define power? And how is it that someone, without using any physical force, can exert power over another? That's kind of the question that I'm grappling with, and the question that I'm contemplating. How does power work? It seems to me that power is elusive. It's abstract. It's an idea or a concept rather than an actual force. Because again, using the examples of Harvey Weinstein, a lot of the time there was no physical force involved. There were a few occasions, from what I understand, that physical force was involved, in which case that is a little bit easier for me to grapple with, a little bit easier to understand, because someone is physically stronger than you, they hold you down and they do things to you. That is clearly a use of force. I guess where I'm coming in is I'm trying to distinguish between force, which is a physical phenomenon, and power, which seems to be an abstract or cognitive phenomenon. It's the perception of power. It's not power itself. It's the fact that I believe this person has power over me, over my livelihood or my career, and this belief is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. By believing that an individual has power over me, I give them power over me. And one of the things that I came up with while discussing this topic with my colleague Christina, shout out to Christina Jones, is that power seems to be tied up somehow with values. It seems to be connected to values somehow. Because, again, as an up-and-coming actor in Hollywood, if I really, really value my career and I really value fame and success, and somebody else holds the key to my success, then all of a sudden they have power over me. But really, they don't have power over me. What has power over me is my values. The fact that I place such a high degree of importance on success in Hollywood is really what has power over me. Again, it's a perception, a belief. It's not a reality that is concrete or physical. Now, of course, part of me understands this quite well because a huge part of my philosophy revolves around the idea of as within, so without. This is a huge part of what I believe and how I live my life. It informs a lot of my beliefs and the practices and principles that govern my life. So I understand that the abstract notion of power, which is psychological, has very real material consequences. I understand that. I'm trying to unravel the whole dynamic of power. And what I believe, and this has yet to be disproven in my eyes, what I believe is that power is personal and internal. I have power over myself. You have power over yourself. The individual has power over him or herself period. That is the only source of power that anyone has. So if another person, quote unquote, has power over you, in my opinion, that means you've given them your power. Maybe you're not aware of that you've done this. And again, maybe it's done in a roundabout way through your system of values. As I said before, if I value success in Hollywood and this individual holds the key to my success in Hollywood and they say, Ollie, if you want to make it in this town, you're going to have to drop down and you're going to have to do something for me. Well, if I value success enough, I will give my personal power, the power that I have over myself, to another. Because I perceive this individual as having power over me. So by believing that someone has power over me, I give them my power, and then they have my power over me. They hold it over me, but it's my power, and I can take it back at any time. That's where I'm at with this. I feel like the perception of power is that other people have power over you. That is a perception. The truth is that you have power over you, and you choose, knowingly or unknowingly, to lend that power to another. Now, it's not just individuals who do this. It's not just Harvey Weinsteins and Brett Ratners and all these other people who are getting accused. It can be an organization. Case in point, if you're a God-fearing Christian, you're taking your power and you're giving it to an institution, to a doctrine, and to a governing body of human beings somewhere who are managing this organization or this institution. You're taking your personal power, the power that you have over yourself, over your intentions, over your beliefs, over your values, over your morals, and you are saying, here you go, Catholic Church, have it, and then tell me what to do. Tell me how to live. Tell me what to believe. But to me, this is like the greatest sin any person can commit, to willingly give your power away without first being very careful in your consideration. Because if you've been thorough and you've done your homework and you have studied extensively the Catholic Creed and you believe in your heart of hearts that that is 100% the truth, then I think you should give your power away to something greater. But most of the time, people grow up in these traditions and they don't even know that they've given their power away. They don't even know that they have power themselves. And that's what Jesus was trying to tell us. That's what Buddha was trying to tell us. It's all within yourself. Rumi, Marcus Aurelius, all the great spiritual and philosophical teachers of the ages have been telling us the same thing. The greatest power in the universe exists within you. Now, they've said this in a number of different ways, using a different number of ideas and images, but the underlying message is always the same. Look within. There's your power. So, I think the conclusion of this little rant is that power seems to be inextricably connected to values. And what we value, we invest our importance into it. We give it importance. We say, well, success is really important for me. It is my greatest goal to make it in Hollywood, to be successful, to be an A-lister. Well, if you value that, then you're giving that goal or that idea a lot of power over you. You're going to do a lot of things that you might not want to do, things that might make you feel dirty or ashamed after, all because you've gotten it in your head and in your heart that this is the most important thing. So again, values plays a huge part in power dynamics. As soon as you shift your values, suddenly different things have power over you. If you go from thinking that money is the most important thing to realizing that it's actually not that important and all I really need is enough to pay the bills and stay comfortable and the rest is a moot point, then that's going to change your lifestyle and your beliefs and your actions. Because all of a sudden now, money isn't the top thing that you're pursuing. Money isn't the most important factor in your life, and so it's going to change everything. But if you value money above all, for example, and it's the most important thing to you, whoever controls the flow of money to your bank account is going to have tremendous power over you, whether that's your boss, your customers, or whoever. So again, I can't shake this idea that power and values are very intimately connected. The second conclusion, or the second point that I want to give you before you go away, is that the only power that anyone has over you is your own power. So if somebody has power over you, it means that you've given them your power. And again, if that's the case, if you believe that someone has power over you, your boss, your spouse, or whoever, then you need to take a good hard look at your values, because I suspect that the power dynamic is affected by your values. So again, if you find yourself in a relationship where the balance of power is seriously skewed and you feel powerless, or you feel as if someone has power over you, they are abusing their power, or they're hoarding and lording their power over you, then I have to tell you, it's your power being used against you. You are allowing someone to use your power against you, and not deliberately, obviously, and not consciously, but you're doing so through your values, I think. And in situations in my own life that have reflected this, I have found in hindsight that it is absolutely true. And case in point, I value my job, but not as much as I value standing up for my convictions. So in a meeting with my boss and my boss's boss and the CEO of the company, I have been in situations before where I have presented opinions and beliefs which are counter to what the bigwigs were saying. And anybody who knows me in person, who knows me in real life, can attest. I'm not a bull in a china shop, but I'm certainly not the kind of guy who pussyfoots around things. If I think you're wrong, if I think this is a bad idea, if I think this is going to hurt the company that I work for, I don't care if you're the CEO of the company. I don't care if you're the president. I don't care who you are. And I don't care if it puts me at risk of getting in trouble or getting fired even. Because as much as I want to keep my job, I want to keep my integrity more so. So you see, there's the values, right? If you value your own integrity above everything else, you're not going to violate your integrity, and you're not going to allow someone else to violate it either, especially not through the use of something abstract like the idea of power, right? Somebody says, Ollie, if you want to make it in this town, you got to drop down and give me a BJ. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that if you're into it, but I'm not into it. So my reply would be, no thank you. And if the person threatens to fire me or to make sure I never work in this town again, so be it. Because there are more important things to me than money, success, having a career, making it. Those things are worthless if you are ashamed of yourself, if you hate yourself, or if you have low self-esteem. Anyway, that was a little bit better than the first time I tried, I think. I won't know until I watch it. Maybe you'll never see this video. Maybe you're watching it right now, in which case, got the full thumbs up from Ollie. Alrighty, have yourself a great day. Oh, don't forget to live well. That's the most important thing.